Hi, I've got your file open in Cheap Architect Premiere X9. I don't have Home Designer Pro 2018 on my computer right now, but I'll program it to be editable in Home Designer Pro 2018. Anyway, what I found was, I think, your problem. You've given some confusing orders to this plan file. And the first one is, go over here to Edit Default Settings, Walls, Exterior Wall. And the wall type that you assigned is brick 6, but you've got siding on brick. That's kind of nutty on the face of it. You don't need siding that's, let's see, here it is, 3 inches thick. Siding is 3 inches thick. That doesn't make any sense. And you've got New Haven Antique assigned here. Let's see, which is a brick. Now, the reason it says texture missing is because you didn't back up the file when you shared it. And so not all the textures you used got exported to others who might look at the file. It's no big deal. But you got brick assigned to it, but over on the materials tab, you got siding assigned to it. I don't mean this in a personal way, but that's goofy. If you want siding, use a siding type wall, but don't take a brick wall and put siding on it. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to go over to undo that and say use default, which is the brick. That's what the wall type is. If you don't want a brick wall for your exterior wall, then don't assign that as the default wall. If you want a siding wall to be your default exterior wall, then you go over here. And I don't know why you're using 6-inch thick walls. Maybe you need them. I don't know. I rarely ever use a 6-inch wall unless the engineer specifies 6-inch. Anyway, the siding 6 has this vertical siding on it, and but most of your model doesn't have vertical siding on it. It has something else. So I'm just going to go over to the siding 6 and change this material to a plan material. I think it's what's the name of that stuff I saw? I wish I remembered the name. Maybe I'm looking to. No, that's not it. So you got two different kinds of board battens on here, one that you colored and then one that's the default color. So you give it some confusing orders to the plan file. And of course, it's going to act goofy because of what you programmed into it. So you always get back what you put in. Oh, hell, I can't remember. Let me cancel out of this. I use this define. It's this stuff here seems to be the predominant material. That's fiber siding neutral. But again, it's just confusing orders to the program. Go over here to edit, default settings, walls, exterior wall. And I'll leave it 6-inch because that's the way you've got it. And we'll change the wall type from brick 6 to siding 6. And I'm going to go over here to define the exterior layer to be that fiber stuff. What the F key, fiber siding neutral, yeah. You got two different patterns here. One with a brick pattern and one with a, that's kind of confusing. This one here, I'm just going to purge it. Doesn't make any sense. And yeah, we'll assign that as a default wall. I noticed earlier when I was looking, when you go to materials, there's a system, see, exterior walls exterior are set to this fiber siding neutral. So now your default exterior wall and this are in agreement. And then it's just a matter of going around, see, it already cleaned up some of these things automatically. There was vertical siding here, now there's not because I changed the settings. Let's see where that Z siding was. Yeah, right here. And this is something that you caused also. We'll click on this and then hit the next button or tab key. And you can see the wall polyline has been altered. So I'm going to go to the structure tab and see for some reason you altered the bottom of it. So I'm going to undo that. And that should make that back into a rectangle, yeah. And then this wall here, by the way, I'm just clicking on there and hitting the next or tab key to get the wall polyline. And the wall type here is siding 6, but on the materials tab, you put vertical siding on it. Who knows why? We can undo that by going to plan materials and then selecting use default. And that's the best way to go, is keep all your ducks in a row and everything in agreement. Now we got a different material here and here. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but let's see what it is. Okay, that's that weird siding has this pattern, but it has a texture that doesn't agree with it. So I'm just going to click on that wall, hit the next button, and go to wall types. See, it's brick 6. It's goofy. You're not goofy. That action was goofy. Okay. Now we go to siding 6. And go to materials tab and see if there's any. Yeah, that's where the confusion is coming to the program anyway. And again, I'm just going to go use default. Okay, and this one's, these attic walls just kind of follow lockstep with whatever you do on the floor below. So we'll just straighten those out by, I see brick 6. It doesn't make any sense. So siding, whoops, not interior 6, siding 6. There it is. So you had some out of agreement settings, and I think you tried to fix it after the fact without changing defaults, and that's what got you into trouble. Okay, now we need to change that wall type to siding 6. Siding 6. Again, I'm just going to use the default. And the default is what you set up in edit default settings. That's how you kind of keep things in order. Now this is a brick wall, so I'm going to leave it alone, and these are brick walls. I don't know what kind of trouble you might have been having with the bump out that you mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, that's a bay window kind of a thing. 45 degree. I don't see anything wrong with that except the roof's not finished. Let's see. I never use the grid. I'm going to turn the grids off. I just don't like them. They added them several versions ago, and I never got in the habit of using them. Okay. Got a roof plane. Oh, I need to turn on baselines. Baselines are important when you're manually editing roofs. Would be roofs, baselines. See, they're all. That's that little baseline, is that little dash line there with a perpendicular on it. And that shows the point where the roof plane transfers its load to the wall. I'm going to copy here, turn it to 45 degrees, and then use point-to-point move to move the baseline from where it is out here to on the edge of the framing where it's supposed to be. And then we can take this edge here and parallel it to this wall, or perpendicular, either way. Put it on the outside. And then these two edges, we'll join them. Well, one changed, but the other one didn't. Sometimes, oh, I see. This line here kept the action from being automatically handled. You have to get rid of that line. Whenever you see this dialog, just say, don't show this again and cancel. I've never found a good use for it other than wasting my time. And I don't consider that a good use. Now I'm going to connect those now that I've got the geometry of the roof plane fixed. And we'll take this, copy it. I use the copy command a lot because this is going to be a clone of these other two, so they have all the same Z-axis settings. Let's see, where's the rotate handle? There it is. Again, I'm going to take this, point-to-point move the baseline from out here in left field to over here on the edge of the framing. We'll just see if this works. Yeah, it worked, except for this line here, it didn't parallel up. That's okay. It's not supposed to automatically do that. And then take this and parallel it. When you're manually editing roofs, you have to just assume that everything's at a parallel or perpendicular, and that after you make a move, then you make sure that they are, so you know it's cleaned up. I'm not sure what problem you were having, but you didn't elucidate that, so I don't know what to say. These are just unfinished dormers. Not quite sure why you did this. That's about all I can see. You just had to straighten out your defaults, and then the program just acts like a good citizen if you have the default set correctly. And if you don't, it kind of, you know, tends to drive you nuts. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you.